Hello, everyone. You're welcome to a beautiful session today. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I want to welcome us to Inside Montessori with TOLULOPE. I'm so excited to have you join us today for another powerful session, a transformative session. At Atoluma Montessori International, we are not just teaching Montessori, we are raising intentional adults who understands the child deeply. And today's conversation is one that goes beyond the classroom. It is one that speaks directly to you, the adult, right? So our topic today, um, without wasting much time, is the role of the adult, the hidden influence. That is, the adult is the curriculum. Now, the truth is, before a child listens to instruction, before a child would listen to your instruction as an adult, the child has already absorbed your tone, as the child has absorbed your attitude, the child has absorbed your presence, right? Tonight we have someone very special to us. So, a woman with a passionate heart, a woman who is passionate about education, committed to transformation, and intentional about raising better learning environment for children. Yeah, without further ado, it's my absolute honor to welcome Mrs. Tolu Efeturi, the celebrity edu consultant. Ma, we are so glad to have you with us today. Thank you for accepting to share your knowledge and experience with us.
Thank you for having me.
And at this point, I would like to. Oh, okay. Would like to sit back. I would like you to sit back because I also like to sit back. So I like you to sit back, listen, reflect, take notes, because this session is definitely going to be a power shift. This session has the power to shift your perspective completely. So, Mrs. Secretary, over to you. Yeah, you're welcome, ma, once again.
I hope we can all see me. I don't know, I'm having a little bit of glitch here and there. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
clearly, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much, my namesake, my sister, my colleague. In fact, we are everything together, beginning from the name. And it's such a joy to know that you are doing something like this. It's really, really gladdens my heart. And I'm really privileged. It's a big privilege for me to be invited. I do not take it for granted because I was thinking about it. You could have called some other people, but you decided to call me for this edition. Thank you so much. And the topic we are talking about is a topic that is so dear to my heart. Like I know it's dear to yours too, Tolu. And yeah, it is integral. It is very important. It is like the foundation of anything that will happen to a child's journey in life, both academically and otherwise. Because if the adult in the present or in the life of the child is absent, there's going to be a K leg. if the adult that's supposed to be present, that's what I want to say, in the life of the child is absent, there's going to be a K-leg in the development of the child. I hope we know what a K-leg means. That means it's not going to be straight. Things will not happen the way it ought to happen. The way it happens for other children is not the way it will happen for that child. So we must be intentional about the adult that is in the life of the child. So I will start with Vygotsky. Leo Vygotsky said that the child is a result of the culture, that the development of the child is deeply entrenched within the culture in which the child finds himself or herself. And I'm also a believer of this, that the environment that the child is born into matters a lot. And the reason it matters is because the adult, which Leo Vygotsky called the MKO, the more knowledgeable other, which is the adult in this case, is the one that will lay the bedrock of development, how the development of the child will go. If it is faulty, the development of the child will be faulty. If it is correct, the development of the child will be good. So we must take serious, what will I say, be seriously intentional about helping the knowledgeable adult, the more knowledgeable adult, to actually be that, to actually be the right person or the right environment in which the child will. And as Tolu has put it, said the adult is the curriculum. Well, I will say the child is the curriculum, but I understand where this is coming from. So the first duty of the adult, preparing the child for his natural development, is that the environment must be suitable. The environment must be suitable. The adult is the link between the child and its environment. The adult is the one that points and guides the child to the right things he ought to be doing, or he ought to know, or he ought to see in the environment. So the adult is the link between the child and his environment. So the adult must prepare the environment for the child. That's what we call prepared environment in Montessori. When we are in the classroom, the environment must be prepared. Even when we're at home, the environment must be child-friendly. It must be ready for their natural development. The environment must help them to develop naturally, not being forced, not being truncated, not being negative. It must be positive. So the knowledgeable adult, or the more knowledgeable adult, must prepare the environment in a way that it will not harm the child, in a way that it will incite the child, in a way that it will bring out those things that are within the child at the right time. The adult watches over the environment. Without the environment being in a good condition, there will be no permanent result of any kind. That's what Montessori said. There will be no intellectual or spiritual or even physical growth if the environment is not prepared. So it is very important. What do you do as an adult, whether you are a parent or you are a teacher? What do you do as an adult to prepare the environment for the child? Is your environment child-friendly? Is it child-safe? Are there materials there, manipulatives, that the child can use to, explore and understand his environment? Are there materials there that the child can use to construct himself? Montessori says it's the child that constructs the man. The boy is the one that gives birth to the man. The boy fathers the man. It looks ironical. It looks like it is a paradox, but it is true. So the environment must be ready for the child. And every action of the teacher must be a call and an invitation to the child to develop naturally, to learn, to understand his environment, to construct himself. That is the number one, function of the adult. Don't forget, I said the adult must be the more knowledgeable other. That is what Vygotsky called the adult in the life of the child. And Montessori and Vygotsky, they have similar, philosophies. Now, I want to go to what else does the adult need to do? Like Tolu said when she started, she said that the child would look up to you because of your character, attitude, the way you carry yourself. The child will be enamored by you. Yes, the knowledgeable adult must lure the child. And that is the issue we have in our classrooms or even as parents. We are not ready to lure the child. Montessori used the word seduce. The adult must seduce the child to love, him or her in a way that makes him or her ready, open to learn. But we have teachers that are too stern, too strict. Their facial expression not loving. You can see Coach Tolu, she's always smiling. You, as a more knowledgeable adult, your facial expression matters a lot. Montessori says you must lure the child. You must seduce the child by doing things like what the children would normally, especially in early years. You don't go into the classroom and start shouting, sit down. Nobody must stand up. If you stand up, I will clip your ear. Those are very wrong. It's the adult that will help the child fall in love with the learning environment. It's the job of the adult. The adult must demonstrate affection so that the children will want to, come to him or her. All right, let me move on to the next one. How else must the teacher or the adult behave? Sorry, I'm saying teacher and teacher, but the adult, because I'm a teacher, maybe. The adult must know the secret of childhood. The adult must be able to observe the children in his or her care. Observe the child and know the state of the child per time. Know what the child needs per time for his natural development to take place. When a child is about to be weaned, the mother will start seeing signs. The child might start refusing to suck the breast. Sometimes the child will start having she is always hungry. Sometimes the child will be crying, not restless. All these are signs for the mother to know that it is time to wean this child off the breast. And then the mother, because she is observant, will start doing the needful. The knowledgeable adult must be observant. Observation is very important in the Montessori setting. And even outside the Montessori setting, it's something that it's a practice that teachers and even mothers must have. We need to observe the windows of opportunities of learning that comes. What we in Montessori is termed sensitive periods. Those are windows that open for the child to learn a particular thing. We must be observant. How is the child ready to learn how to write? When is the child ready? Unlike just giving everything to every child at the same time. In schools, what we have now is that parents or teachers expect a 3-year-old to behave the same way other 3-year-olds are behaving, which is wrong. Every child has his own window of opportunities of learning. Every child has a window to learn something. The window of this child might not be the window of that child. I'm looking for the right word in there. That time that the child is ready might not be the same for the other child. So the teacher must be observant. The teacher must note the abilities of each child in his or her care. Also, the parents, you must know the ability of your children. You don't put them together and say, oh, because the firstborn is like this, the secondborn must be like this. No. You need to observe them. You need to see their readiness to things, their ability to learn, what they do with things that you give to them. You need to observe. The blessing of observation is that it helps you to tailor, your maybe learning materials for teachers or your instructions as a parent or as an adult. It helps you to tailor it to meet the specific needs of the child, not putting all of them together. I want to quickly talk about the classroom and what we all call classroom management. I am a teacher that I've taught across boards and across all levels. I have taught from preschool to university level. So if not pre-university levels, let me say that. So I see that children are the same when it comes to a class that is not organized. Whether the child is 2 years, whether the child is 18 years, they are the same. I can tell you that for free. When they want to be disorderly, they are disorderly. When they want to make your class unorganized, they are unorganized. But I know of a fact that the problem of an unorganized classroom or a disorganized classroom lies with the teacher. It doesn't lie with the student. It doesn't lie with the children, whether in the home or in school. It lies with the knowledgeable adult. The more knowledgeable adult or the more knowledgeable order. It's the way you have set up your classrooms or your home that the children will follow. If you have given yourself, if you have given them a room to misbehave they will. Children will be children, no matter the age. And we're talking about from birth to 18 years. That's what we're talking about. They will show you that they are children. So you must, know that and own it, that a disorganized space is because there's a loophole somewhere that you have not, tackled with. In the traditional setting, they believe that because everywhere is quiet, the children are okay. In a traditional setting, the mother believes that when she says, oh, and the child just goes and does it, everything is okay. But that is not actually the truth. The reality is that the children are not so being disciplined. Instead, they are afraid of the adult in the space. That is not discipline. That is not discipline at all. Discipline is when the children on their own, they have come to realize that at so time, this is what we do. At so time, this is the order we follow. They have come to imbibe that order. That is discipline. Discipline is not when they know that mommy is coming and they are all scurrying and running inside. That is not discipline. I hate when I'm coming and I see the children in my care, maybe in school or at home, that is when they want. I hate it, because it means that I have not achieved, I have not, set a proper precedent. I've not set a proper, put a proper thing in place for them to act the right way. So the adult must help the children to not be distracted. The adult must help the children to follow the order of things. Order is one thing that brings classroom management, to the peak. There's no classroom management without order. And order comes with routine. When they come in, where should they put their bags? In my house, they know where they put their bag. If they're not putting their bag there, they know they are flaunting. And you see that when you have built this right from when they're 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you see them when they are 10. Even when they want to come out of it, it is not as bad as the child that was not brought up with that order. I hope I'm saying something. Coach Tolu, are you there? I hope I'm not just talking to myself, because I can't see anybody.
No. We have people watching us live, so we're enjoying it. We're learning it.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, you must start from when they are that age. Montessori deals with children as in at our level. We have to 24. I tell people Montessori is not just for birth to 6, like we used to say, or we have elementary, we have high school, and we have university. Yes, you need to find out. Montessori deals with children from birth to 24. By 24, we believe an adult is formed. But when you start with a child from, some people will say that you must give children chores. Not of that school of thought of giving children chores when they are 10 years old. That's when you want to start giving them chores. You had better not just even disturb yourself again, to me, because that child will show you pepe. But you start from when they are 2. That's why I said observation is important. And you also need to seek knowledge, because these things are entrenched in the Montessori practice, in the Montessori approach. And that's why Montessori is the best. As in, I have put it side by side with all others. And to me, is the best approach for children when we talk about chores. Because from 2 years, the child knows that when I put on my shoe, I can use the Velcro. I can just put it on top of the other, and it will just snap, and it will just, I've buckled my shoe in a way. By 3 years old or 4 years old, I can unpin my button. I can unbutton my shirt. I can unzip. And I'm doing that every day in my practice, at home, at school. And then you tell me that when I get to being 10, preteen, and teenage years, you tell me that it will be difficult for me to do? It won't be. I have kept my bag in a particular way all through 2 years old, all through 3 years old, all through 4 years old, all through 5 years old. 6 years old. Will that be difficult for me when I become an adult as a man? Will I come into the house as a man and be throwing my stuff around? It's because it was not entrenched into me when I was 2, when I was 3, when I was 4. So that is the work of the more knowledgeable adult, to point the child in the direction that it should go. The knowledgeable adult is like a valet, or let me say a handsmaid or a house help. The house help will come to the house, clean the table, clean everywhere, make sure the dishes are washed, but she will not come and meet you and say, "Madam, When do you want to use the pots that I've washed? Madam, when do you want to comb your hair with this brush that I have made clean? She won't come to you. The child is the master, is the madam now in this analogy. The child will go and take the dish when he or she is ready. The child will take the brush and brush his or her hair when he or she is ready. The job of the house help is to make sure these things are ready. These things are in order. The child will take the mirror and use it when he or she wills and smile. And the knowledgeable adult will say, smiling along. If the child wants an expression of praise, the knowledgeable adult will give the child. If the child does not want praise, you don't have any business giving the child praise. It's not all the time you tell the child, good job. Sometimes in my home, they will do something, they're expecting good job. I just keep quiet. Because some children, not some children, children will now, they want to do that thing only for good job, only for well done. There are times you don't need well done to do anything. Nobody will tell you well done, but you have to do the thing and you have to do it well. Is the work of the knowledgeable adult. But when you have the adult, always praise him with no reason for the praise. For example, good job, good job, good job. No reason for the good job. Tomorrow, when there's no good job, the child does not want to do the job. You tell the child, wow, you cleaned your mess from the table. That's so good. Wow, you said hello to that girl. That's so thoughtful of you. Let them know the reason why you are praising them. Don't just say, well done. Well done for what? So now in my house and in my settings, I don't say well done and good job so much. If I say it, immediately I remember, what am I reinforcing? What am I reinforcing? So I tell the child, you read your words so well, you made no mistakes. And even when you made a mistake, you corrected yourself. Oh, even when you made a mistake, you did not allow it to deter you. You were going and you finished your work. The child tomorrow wants to prove to me that I'm still that kind of a child, wants to finish your work. I have a child that can say everything, but to write, she's not really a fan of writing. So the other day she was doing her homework and I said, your teacher told me that you are now very fast, when I noticed that she was slow. I said, your teacher told me that you are now very fast. And she started writing fast to prove to me that yes, the teacher was right. You know, reverse psychology. So that's the work of the adult. Also, let me tell you, I don't know if there's any teacher here or any parent that have a child that is always distracted, always disturbing. That child, some of us will say the child is looking for attention. Some will say, you know, the child is spoiled. So it's none of the above. The child is just developing. It is the job of the knowledgeable adult or the more knowledgeable adult to demonstrate affection and love and kindness enough to that child to bring that child out of that, you know, misbehavior, as we call it. In Montessori, we call it deviation. To bring out the child from that deviation, it is the job of the adult. And the way we do it is not by being too stern. It's not by being too strict. It's not by long cane. I don't use cane in my house. And I don't use it in settings that I work with. It is an abomination to me, really. When I see you beating a child with a cane, I feel so sad. Because that child is not a monkey, is not a goat, is not a cow. That child is a sensible, cognitively active, you know, physically active, you know, physically okay child. Even if the child is not physically okay, that is not good. So why will you use a cane on a child when you have your mouth, when you have your ways? So what you do to such a child is you demonstrate affection so much to the child, and the child will be glued to that affection first, and then you can now bring in that correction. In the classroom, if I have a child that is shouting, especially maybe 2 to 3 years, they still crying. You know what I tell the teachers? It's like he needs to go to the playground. Take him to the playground. They will take him to the playground. He will play. By the time he's coming back into the classroom, the cry has stopped. Some of them, the cry will not stop. Once they come back to the classroom, they will start crying again. But you see, you have put something else in the mind of the child. Like, you can be free here. You can do something you like. All right, I think my time will soon be up. The knowledgeable adult must know that the child is trying to construct himself. The knowledgeable adult must know that the child is trying to make himself superior to his difficulties. We think buttoning your clothes or lacing your shoes or cleaning up your mess, we think they are just easy because we are adults. To the child, it's a process, and it's the process that matters, not even the end result. Okay? The knowledgeable adult should have fulfillment in the fact that you help the child to fulfill the task set for it by God. Children on their own, they have the ability to show us as adults that there are greater forces within them. Greater force within them, turning them into the man, into the personality, into the woman that they are going to be in future. You are not the only force. Yes, you are in their lives to guide them. You are in their life to protect them. You are in their life to provide for them. You are in their life to be, a shelter for them. But let me tell you something. The faculty of speech, the faculty of thinking, the faculty of walking, the faculty of feeling, all these were imputed into them by the Creator. All these were imputed. You are not the one that taught your child to talk. You are not the one that taught your child to walk. You only helped. You only supported. That's what we call scaffolding. You only supported. You only helped. But the real work was from within. The brain and the organs working together to make the child walk, to make the child talk. So if you believe that these faculties are even of greater impact than whatever it is you want to try to put into the child, you will step down, you will calm down, and you will observe the child, and you will help the child grow into that which he is supposed to grow into. So please, an undisciplined child is an indication of some error that the knowledgeable adult or the more knowledgeable adult has. Let me say that again. An undisciplined child is an indication of some error that the knowledgeable adult, the more knowledgeable adult has made. So if I see your child, I'm concluding because I was given 40 minutes. If I see your child outside from age 6, I am very specific, from age 6, misbehaving, not following instruction, not understanding personal spaces, not understanding cues, not doing the right thing, being complained about of being a bully, of hitting other children. The error is from you. I'm sorry to say. And I'm not pinpointing the error. I'm just saying that you are the more knowledgeable adult. Do something about it. I hope I have been able to convince us and not confuse us with this point of mind. There's so many things to say, but that as adults in the life of the children that we have been given, either in our spaces of work, as teachers, as educators, or as parents, we have a very important role to play in the construction of the child. We have that role where we are the guides. We link them to the world. We help them to engage with their world appropriately. So, if there are any questions, I would love to take them now. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. TOLULOPE EFETURI. This is not just a session. This is a mirror for every one of us as adults. In fact, we learned a lot, and I'm sure, like I did, I'm sure so many others did as well. Yes, you pointed my attention to something before we continue with the questions that we have. Like that was a typo error where you saw the adult is the correct. That was a typo error. I was going to write the adult is the interpreter of the curriculum. So
Oh,
I felt
okay.
I yeah, so the definitely an adult is who embodies the curriculum. She's that key that opens that door, right? So that was a typo error. Thank you so much, Ma. Really, I had to go back to the WhatsApp and I was like, ah, thank you so much, Ma. It was so beautiful. There's something I would like to emphasize from what you said. An undisciplined child is an indication of the mistakes that the adults have made. And I believe that many people actually don't see this. Before I ask our question, I just want to point our direction to something. There's this particular movie that is all over the place. She dropped it yesterday. Fine, it's Monica. So many people have watched the movie. If we are to analyze that curriculum as against what we discussed today, we'll find out the mistake of many adults that many people are not seeing. From that movie, for example, you see the boy unruly, indisciplined, cannot just they've act like ingrates and so many things, and everybody is after the adult. Oh, the adult, the woman is a witch, the woman is this. But when we look really, we see it that the children they don't hear us as much as they perceive us. They don't hear us as much as the model that we give to them. They're a reflection of who we are, minus let me say, what we say is like 20% of who they become.
Yes.
So, yes. And this is what you have actually discussed about today. And I want to pin some things that you said. You spoke to us about the importance that the adult is the observer in the environment. She should be able to know what the child needs per time. Very important for a Montessorian, even for every educator at large. Ma, so that we don't waste our time, I would like to ask some questions that some educators would like to know. My first question to you, Ma, is how can a teacher begin to practice observation effectively, especially in a busy classroom? For example, we know that Montessori has to do with vertical grouping. That's a multi-age class setting. For those who are actually running Bill Montessori, and for schools who are breaking it down, maybe for space sake, especially over here in Nigeria. Yeah, we discussed that some weeks back, this particular
Yeah.
topic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the question the educator is asking is, how can a teacher begin to practice observation effectively, especially in a busy classroom?
Okay, so I want to be practical. I don't want to talk about the books. I want to be practical on this one. So I have uh, an experience from a school that I worked with. Uh, the white lady was an AMI, Montessorian, certified Montessorian. And do you know what she told us? We have a book at the beginning of the day when the children are having their individual, what do we call it now? They're working with materials, that work cycle. When the children are working with the materials, we sit down and we start looking at each child. Anything you note about the child. I have on the book all the names of the children on different pages. Do you understand? So if I see Tolu, I say, oh, today is fourth. It's today fourth or fifth. I'll write the date. Today is third. Sorry, 3rd of May 2026. Tolu picked the geography material. She actually loves geography because the whole of this term she has been working with you now start naming the materials, the globe, the sandpaper globe, the color globe, and today she's working with what was I say, puzzle, whatever puzzle. That's a small sketch that you can develop tomorrow, or that can give you a clue to the lapses or the strength or the weakness of that child. That's one day. Another day you write another thing. Another day you write another thing. For Tolu, the same thing you are doing for Iben, you are doing for, do you understand? That time that they are working on their own, that's the time we write. We call it narratives. We call that narratives. So the narrative also include what they are working with that they've not yet mastered. When we are doing our observation, is presented, mastering and mastered. There are words for it. I'm trying to remember now. Yeah. So when the child is still mastering the skill, against the date you write, still mastering. When she has mastered it, if I open your book after 2 weeks, I might just see she has mastered. Do you understand? You see the progression. That's one. Another one, when it comes to the rubrics, is that divide your class into 5-5 or 6-6. I don't think there's any teacher in a Montessori classroom that has more than 30 students. I don't want to believe that we have a Montessori classroom that has, and when I mean from ages, let's say, even when we say we have vertical grouping, let's say we have it from 2.5 to 6.5, isn't it? Or to 5.5, whatever it is that you're dividing. So, yeah, if you have 30 children, you can divide them into maybe group of 5. So today, you make sure the 5 that you have on Monday, you observe them in total against all the rubrics that we have. We have the rubrics. We have the things that we are measuring their development against, isn't it? Yeah. Still processing or still perfecting or whatever. So it's a conscious thing that was inbuilt because of that book that was being given to us and that narrative that we write every day. We also do that against the rubrics. If it is sensorial, Tolu is learning to stack 5 blocks perfectly, or has learned to stack the 5 blocks perfectly. She added 2 more blocks. She can now do this, do that. Isn't that the observation? That's the observation that we need. So you can do that. And it helps you to see the child. When you do this, it helps you to see the child in their totality, not generally. you can see, oh, this is what Tolu is actually doing, because your mind is fixed on Tolu for that day, or your mind is fixed on those 5 for that day. You see all their movements, you see their needs, you see their strengths, you see their weaknesses. I hope I've been able to answer this question.
Very well, Ma. Yeah. So, yes, that you were going to say introduced, mastered, and introduced, practicing, and mastered.
Mastered.
Yes,
Thank you.
I didn't want to interrupt you. Yeah. So
Okay.
she has actual. In fact, for Montessorians, some of us who are Montessori trained, we already have an idea of this, right? And for those who are not Montessori, you definitely might not understand what we are saying, right? So that is why you have to go for a proper Montessori training to actually understand how to assess a child properly, because that will give the foundation when it comes to you understanding the child deeply. It's not observation for us in the Montessori environment, is beyond looking. We see intently, we see more than we see, right? Because we understand what it takes to observe, we know what we want in the child, yeah, and we know that we want to see what sensitive period this child is, we want to see how far they have gone to have mastered this particular skill, and so many other rubrics, like Mrs. TOLULOPE EFETURI. I like that name. Right. So, our second question: what practical ways can adults develop emotional control around children? I know why I'm asking this question. I was at a school some weeks back, speaking at the parent conference, and then parents were, African parents generally, you can never tell them that cane is not the solution. After we spoke, they were all over me. You cannot tell me that. If you don't have the cane, it will not set the head of the child. And when I was done explaining, they kept quiet. Why? Because actually, cane does not do the job. It only exposes the child to more dangerous habits, And sometimes, apart from even cane is even small. The reaction we give to children. For example, I want to paint one example. I was with an adult recently, and the adult was actually angry at what the child did. Yeah, she was actually looking for something, and he knew that one of the children actually did that. It misplaced what he was looking for, and it was all over the place, angry, like, where did you put my thing, and all of that. And children, the child did something that she had never done. She usually pee on when she sleeps overnight, and for a while, for the first time, she did not pee, and then she woke a 5-year-old now. That was what she was after, telling the same adult that was angry, I did not pee. Rather, the person said, what's my business? Go and look for my. And I had to call the person. I said, wait, what message are you trying to send to this child? Does that mean
That doesn't move.
Yeah, like that shows that when I'm not happy, I can't be happy for you. And then when we see children not happy for themselves, right, and they start showing that reaction, we are like, you don't know, you cannot appreciate well, you did it. So and all of these things determine the data when it comes to their emotional attunement, their emotional balance. So I want you to explain to us, what practical ways can adults develop emotional control around children that will help them build emotional balance?
Thank you very much. You see, we have to be very realistic because children will whine your head, and you also, you are still a child. You are still, no matter how we are adults, no matter how adults we are still children at heart. So let me tell you, number one thing you ought to know is that when you make a slip, when you make a mistake, immediately you let the child know that was a mistake. That was wrong. I wasn't supposed to shout like that. I'm sorry I shouted like that. Why? A lot of traditional people will not accept this. But do you know what it does? It puts you in check. The next time you are not stable, and you are about to shout at the child or not, see the child, something goes on in your head, like you don't want to make this mistake again. And as many times as you have to apologize, you apologize. That doesn't make your child to feel that they have a kind of power over you. No, it makes them understand that we are all, is it fallible? No one is infallible. We all make
Honorable.
mistakes, so it helps the child really. I've done it practically, even in schools. When something happens with my students and they are not happy with me or something, I come to terms with it. And then, even when I know that they are wrong, maybe 80 or 90% of the time, I tell them the part that I am wrong. Immediately you break down before them like that, they are ready to assimilate, they are ready to take in whatever you want to tell them. And they want to also behave like you. They see you as nice. So with parents, when you have children that, maybe at a time, like my daughter, the big one, sometimes tries my patience by keep asking me questions upon questions, even when she knows that I am upset, I am worked up, I am cranky. That is when she wants to ask me questions. And sometimes I lose it. And I'm like, can't you see I'm all worked up? Why are you doing this? Why? Then later, when I say that I have calmed down, do you know what my daughter learned to start doing? She will come around and say, I'm sorry, I know you were cranky at that time. I shouldn't have even asked you that question. Or if she doesn't come like that, she'll come around and just try to be loving again. And then she knows that definitely I'm going to tell her, I didn't like what you did that time. I'm sorry also, I shouted, or something like that. So we have that understanding. And it is emotional intelligence. We almost learn emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence means that it does not mean that you are always right. Sorry. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean that you always have it, together. That's where we are missing it. People feel that emotional intelligence means at all times I'm calm, at all times I know what to say, what to do, how to react. No, human beings are not robots. We're not robotic. And that's why today, Coach Tolu will call me, I'm happy. Tomorrow, Coach Tolu will call me and I'm not happy, because we are not robotic. The same goes with when we are dealing with children. You don't even know the emotion the child was going through. I have a girl, and I started noticing mood swings at the time she started having a period. And the same thing with me. Whenever it's time for my period, or whenever my period has passed just a little, I'm very cranky, I'm very moody. So I started seeing myself in my daughter, because she too was having those kind of, and I started thinking, how can I help her? How can I help her to be better when she is going through this? So emotional intelligence doesn't mean we have it all together. It means we are willing to learn, unlearn, relearn. That's what emotional intelligence means. And the first thing that will do that to us, and the first thing that will enable us, is the ability to, come down from our high horses as adults, and, be at that level with the child, that makes the child knows that I can make mistakes. I'm sorry for my mistakes. I own my mistakes. I try not to do it again the next time. So for that father, or for that mother, that when the child wanted to tell him or her that I didn't win today, and you missed it at that point, later, let humility tell you that you go and meet the child and say, oh, you were telling me something in the morning. Sorry, I was cranky at that time. That thing I'm looking for is very important. But you see, you didn't win today. Oh, that is good. That is lovely. Well done. You tried. I'm sure tomorrow you will still try to do. What did you do? What did you do that made you not to wee? Did you wee before going to bed? Did you drink less water? What did you do? To reinforce. It is very important. Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Hey, thank you so much, Ma. The last question before you go, Ma. The last question, because we want to learn so much today. And thank you for answering our questions and giving us the best answer we can have. Yes, Ma. I want to ask this question, and this applies to the teacher as well as parents, right? How do we balance stepping in and stepping out without, more like backing out, not,
Okay.
you know what I'm trying to say, without neglecting the
Yes.
child. You know,
Yes. Yes.
many people have seen children to be zombies, toys. Like, we just have to be there for them. Loving them means we have to be all over them, help them to do just everything. Some people don't know how to step back, and some people don't even know when to step in, right? So I wanted to help us with that question. How do we balance stepping in and back without neglecting the child?
Okay. So today I was reading one of the books by Montessori, and something just, this really, because I was supposed to talk about it. I don't know. I think it escaped me. So this just jumped out at me. And that is the fact that we have stages. We have stages of development. And in these stages of development, when we talk about the stage of 0 to 3, isn't it? Which we call the unconscious,
Observant mind.
the unconscious
Absorbent. Absorbent
absorbent
mind.
mind. You see, at that stage, you have no business leaving the child. That's what people miss. You have no business leaving the child. You must be with the child. You must guide the child. You must tell the child what to do. You are there as a guide. You are there as a kind of model. I gave an example of my child brushing her teeth. So at that age of 3, I have started introducing them to holding their brush, using it to brush anyhow they want to brush it. They are mastering the skill of brushing. So by the time my firstborn was 4, she was brushing on her own, because she has entered the second phase, or the second epoch, like we call it. And that is now what? Conscious. So when you are now in that conscious state of absorbent mind, when the child is now conscious of the reason why the toothpaste and the brush is going into the mouth, the child knows it's for brushing. The child knows that the teeth must be clean. The teeth will be clean if you do it in a particular way. That child is now conscious. At that time, you leave the child. Montessori says you act as though the child does not exist, as if the child is not there, because you want the child to master. I'm reading from the book. I'm reading from the book. The Montessori said, as soon as concentration begins, as though the child does not exist. Coach Tolu, this came at me like a force. Like, this is it. This is why we tell teachers, this is why we tell parents, there is a time for everything. When they are 1 to 3, be there. Help them button by showing them. Help them, tell them what to do, how to hold the brush, how to hold the knife, but by the time they step into the second epoch, which is now conscious, you now start withdrawing, so that they can. A parent or an adult of a child that does not withdraw, do you know what happens to the child? The child is overly dependent. And let me make it clear, when you don't give the support that you were supposed to give at the first epoch, at the first stage of development, don't think that the child will miraculously begin to function the way he or she ought to function. And that is why that your question comes in. So by the time you now step away from such a child, what happens? Chaos. The child cannot feed himself at 4. They are still feeding 4-year-old child. Tolu, is that okay? You and I know that is rubbish. If the child is okay physically, cognitively. Why are you feeding a 3-year-old child? Why are you feeding a 4-year-old child? And some school owners are enablers. They say they don't want this classroom to be dirty. For what? When my child will finish eating and clear, my children in school, they will finish and clear their spaces by themselves. They have the material, I have the material here, I can show you. Their own space, they will clear the table and clear the floor of any crumbs that comes up. What am I teaching that child? I'm teaching that child independence. I'm teaching that child responsibility. So when you say that they should come out, when do we leave? When they ask you such question, just know that they did not do the right thing they were supposed to do when they were supposed to do it. And that's why we are telling parents, we are telling adults, we are telling teachers, helping them, it has time. There's a time to help and there's a time to withdraw the help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ma. You gave us the right answer to our questions. And I know if you are the kind of parent who feels what she's saying is not possible, go and try it and you'll see the magic. You know, sometimes some parents always believe, as well as teachers believe, that children cannot do things for themselves. I've heard some of them say, how do you expect a 3-year-old to go and go to the toilet and wash their butt? And I'm like, really? The truth is that no child grows into development. No child grows into it. They are walked in it. They are walked into it. They are trained into it. So just like Auntie Tolu told us, she explained it deeply to you that you should give the child opportunity to be themselves, give them the opportunity to be trained. Yes, they will mess up. It's from the mess, like the preacher will say, from the mess you get the message. It's from the mess that you get them to develop properly, right? Ma, thank you so much. I feel like screaming. Thank you so much. It was really loaded. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wealth of experience and knowledge. And today you have reminded us that the child is always watching. The child is always absorbing. And truly, the child is the curriculum. And we, the adults, we are the interpreters of the curriculum. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for being here. But more importantly, thank you for being open to growth, because only people who are open to growth will be here, right? And I also wanted to say moments like this is very important to us, as it helps us to change our perspective. Yeah. And so every information you've gotten from today's lecture, I want you to apply them. Just apply them. And I believe that you will get the testimonies. You will see it efficiently working for these children. So if the session has impacted you, don't keep it to yourself. Share the video, invite someone to watch, continue the conversation. And if you missed any of our previous sessions, you can head over to our YouTube channel where you are, and then you can watch other videos that you've missed. Yeah, we'll be back next week with another powerful session. You know, today was powerful. Yeah, and until then, I want you to reflect, I want you to apply, and I want you to grow. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mr. TOLULOPE EFETURI. We are so grateful once again. Do have a wonderful evening. Bye.